If your partner has said, I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore, you need to listen to this before you do anything else, because what you do in the next couple of days matters more than anything that comes after that. Most people, when they hear this, they start to panic, they start chasing, or they just shut down completely. And both of those responses will actually make it worse. So before you react, let me tell you what that phrase actually means and what it doesn't mean, because there's a version of this story that ends very, very differently to the one that you think right now. So firstly, I want to be honest with you about what you just heard. If your partner is telling you this, it is real. They're not confused. They're not being dramatic. They felt something shift and they finally had the courage to say it out loud. And as terrifying as this is to hear, the fact that they said it is really important, because people who've completely given up, they don't say this. They just leave. So the fact that they're still talking to you means the word love actually means something to them. And here's what this phrase really is. It's a symptom. It's not the end. It's not the nail in the coffin. It's not a diagnosis. It's the result of something that's been building up for probably a very long time. There's emotional disconnection, the distance, the feeling of just being roommates instead of partners, and that in-love feeling, it didn't disappear overnight. It eroded slowly, probably pretty quietly, until one day your partner couldn't pretend that they don't feel that way anymore, right? And what they're actually saying is, I don't feel close to you anymore. I don't feel seen by you. I don't feel that spark, and I don't feel safe. I don't feel like I can be my full self with you. And I don't know how to get back there. They may not even know what that really means, but this is what it does mean. What it does not mean, though, is that it's not important, right? It doesn't mean that they've stopped caring about you. It doesn't mean that the relationship is over, but it does mean it's a wake-up call. It means that actually right now you need to do something, and you haven't failed. The relationship hasn't failed. It means the two of you have drifted so far away from each other that the connection that you once had, the created feeling of in love, that's been buried under years of life, of stress, of unspoken resentment, of disconnection. And all those buried things, they can be uncovered and the love will be able to regrow again. I've worked with couples who were in exactly this moment. One partner saying those exact words and who completely turned it around. And I've worked with individuals whose partners said that to them too. And even without their spouse knowing, by working with me, they've been able to turn their marriages around into something stronger than what they even had before. But this is critical. What you do right now really matters enormously. The instinct when you hear this is to go into fix-it mode, to prove yourself, to show them what they're missing, to have those big conversations over and over again, to make big grand promises, or pull back and give them the space, thinking, okay, if I give them space, they'll come back. But the problem with all those things is that they come from panic, and the panic is never the right energy to rebuild your relationship from. Chasing them will also make you look desperate, it will make you feel desperate, and it will push them further away. And if you make promises without changing anything, it's not going to land. Your words don't really matter here, it's your actions. And so giving space without changing the dynamic also just gets them more time to feel comfortable with the distance. The other thing that people do in this moment is they attack. They get angry. They make their partner feel really guilty for saying how they feel. They argue with them about whether their feelings are real. And none of this is building the bridge back. It actually burns that bridge much faster. So what you need to do is harder than any of those things. And this is why most people can't do it alone. And that's why most relationships don't survive this moment, even though they could. What actually moves the needle is understanding the dynamic at play underneath the words. So when a partner says they're not in love with you anymore, it almost always comes down to one of three things. Number one, they don't feel emotionally safe with you. They've lost respect for you. They don't feel like they can be themselves, or they've lost that feeling of respect for the relationship. Or their nervous system has learned that connection leads to pain, and so protecting themselves, they're shutting down. None of these things get fixed by one conversation. They get fixed by a shift in the entire dynamic of how you relate to each other. That shift has to start with one person, and right now in this moment, that person is you. Not because it's your fault, but because you're the one that actually wants this. You're the one still fighting. You're the one watching this video. And that is your biggest advantage. I've seen this moment, I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore, become the turning point where everything changes. Where couples go from emotionally checked out and not really feeling it in the relationship to genuinely excited about the other person again. Where the person who said those words looks back at their partner months later and says, I don't know what happened, but I'm completely back in the relationship and I feel in love with you again. It doesn't happen by accident. And it doesn't happen by you doing more of what got you here in the first place. So if you're sitting with this right now, if you've just heard those words, or you've been hearing a version of them for months, I want you to know this is not the end of your story unless you decide that it's the end of your story. I'm Sophie Orozco and I'm a certified marriage turnaround expert. I've helped hundreds of couples and individuals come back from exactly this moment. So if you want to understand exactly what's happening in your relationship and what it would take to change it, I have a free relationship turnaround call where we can look really honestly about what's going on in your situation together. The link to book is right below this video. And this isn't for everyone. It's really only for you if you're ready to change this dynamic, if you're ready not to give up, if you know what you've been doing isn't working and you want to try a different way. If that's you, I'll see you there and wishing you all the best in your relationship.